So, welcome to the Globuntu Book Studio. Today, so one moment, I need to fix something. My network is not working, but I'll get it right immediately. So, welcome to the Globuntu Books Studio. Today is just me, my laptop, and you. And exceptionally, we're not doing a book launch. It is not a book launch today. Rather, it is a declutter workshop, a mini workshop about how to declutter your life. So my name is Ankweta Beatrice Achaleke, and I am here to help you declutter your life. I'm here today to give you 5 reasons, 5 very quick reasons why it is so important that we declutter our lives exactly now. So if you're ready, I will say, let's go quickly into it and get started. So if you're joining, make sure that if you're on Facebook, YouTube, or LinkedIn, make sure to use the comment box to join me in the studio to share with me what it is that you would like to declutter in your life, why you think it is so important to declutter, or if you just want to know what the heck is decluttering so important at this moment. So if you're there, I am here, and let's have this party started, and let's have a great conversation about the importance of decluttering. So we are into 2022. We are into 2 straight years of the pandemic, and a time when 2 years during which so much has changed. So much has changed in the world. Our life have changed, and we have changed. I think even a baby knows that we have changed. And so the 5 reasons that I want to give you today why it is so important to declutter is number one, the world has changed, and so have you. Maybe your workplace has changed. Maybe your home has changed. The way we relate to people has changed. The way we build relationships, the way we interact with our clients, our business have changed. And maybe on top of that all, maybe you were retrenched. Maybe you started a new job. Maybe you moved to a new place. Maybe you got into a new relationship or just started a new life. So much has changed. Maybe you homeschooled. You had to start homeschooling your children. Maybe you have learned probably a lot of things. So much has changed. So I don't know which of the above has changed for you, but the truth is that the world has changed and we have changed. And this is why it is so important that we declutter. So if you're wondering, how can I declutter? Just stick on with me. Stick on with me right to the end, and I will give you, show you how it is best, how you can best declutter. Now, if you're wondering, who is this woman to tell me about how why I should declutter and why should I believe her? Okay, well, um, people who know that I am someone who moves a lot. I move a lot. I don't stay in one place. I was born in a village. I moved to the city in Cameroon, and then I moved to Austria. I spent 20 years, a time during which I traveled. I traveled a whole lot. And why spending 20 years in Austria? I moved at least 8 times. In the beginning, it was just me and my 2 suitcases. And then the children came and I had to move with the children. And in 2015, I moved to South Africa with 2 suitcases. You know, you've stayed in a space for 20 years, and sometimes we collect stuff. And when you're a mom like me, with 2 children, you know how much you can collect toys, books, children's clothes, some that are no longer useful because the kids have grown out of it. We collect and collect and collect a lot of junk that no longer serves us. And so when we collect those things, they occupy space. They occupy space in our mind, in our physical spaces, in our morale, in the way we show up. And so when we're so cluttered and our hands are full, we can't receive something new, even when it is right in front of our nose. So when we declutter, we set space free, right? So that's a little bit of my background. When I moved to South Africa in 2015, it's been close to 7 years. I've moved 4 times. And each time I've had to declutter. I've had to declutter, make sure that I let go of things that may still be useful, that I may have some emotions attached to, some sentimentalities, but which I know will no longer serve my needs in the new place that I'm moving in. Whether this new place that you're moving is in your mind, in your physical space, in the job that you'll be doing, in your vision of life, your purpose, the people that you want to serve. You see, there are just so many layers. So once you realize that you want something different. If you want something different, that's it. Then you can be carrying the things with you, along with you, that have served their purpose, that may not serve you in the new place, right? So this is why it is so important to declutter. This is my background. I have learned a whole lot along the way, and I've even learned how to let go, declutter some of those things that are so close to my heart, like leaving my 2 kids behind in Austria. And trust me, I'll do it again, because when I see what the results are of what has happened to them by me leaving them behind, and what I have been able to accomplish, and the relationship that we have built with each other, I will do it again. So how do I do that? I have created rituals, lots of rituals that help me to easily let things, physical things, emotions, feelings, experiences, and people go, so we can grow collectively and mutually, or grow differently. You see what I'm saying? Grow differently because we let one another go. So reason number one that I mentioned was because the world has changed, and so have we. So much has changed. Whether it's your workplace, whether it's the way you parent, the way you show up, the way you deal with your client. I mean, we should be having this workshop in a physical place, right? We should all be meeting, but where are we having it now? Online, virtual, because that's how the world has changed. And so we have to adapt to new ways of doing things, and new ways of doing maybe old things, or maybe even adjusting some of those old things to fit into the new ways of doing it, so that we can either save time, so we can be more efficient, so we can leverage. And this is why it is so important that we declutter our lives right now. Okay, so that was reason number one, because the world has changed, and so have you as well. Reason number two is also very simple. It's just for you to get rid of those things that are no longer serving you. Now, if you change your job, or if you were retrenched, you bear with me that you no longer need some of the things that you used to have at your job site, right? You no longer need them. This could be files, this could be boxes, this could be, I mean, some of these things can just not just be in your physical space, but in your computer, in your cell phone, and in your, I don't know, some of those digital spaces. And some of this you need to let them go. Which are the groups that you were in because of the job that you were doing? The people, some of the contacts, you may never see them again, but they're still occupying space in your cell phone. There's occupying space in your digital space. They're occupying space in your mind. So we got to let this go, so that we can have space to receive something new. And believe you me, I have been letting things go. And each time that I let things go, and I think like, oh my gosh, I don't have anything left, you realize that things come to you. They just come to you because there is space. There is space for these things to drop down to you. You have your hands empty, so you can easily catch them when they fall on your space, right? So this is why it's so important to declutter. So you get rid of things, people, places, spaces that are no longer serving you. And by so doing, you make yourself free for the spaces, the people, the ideas, the thoughts, the creativity that you need in order to show up differently and to tap into your greatness. Okay, reason number three is so simple. Reason of number 3 of 5 is you gain clarity and serenity when you are not a slave of material, when you are not cluttering your space with a lot of things that you don't need. You have more clarity. You have clarity in the way you think, the way you see the world, the way you organize your spaces, the way you communicate with people. If you're not in too many WhatsApp groups, the few that you're in, you know that they serve a purpose. And so you can better show up in that space and maximize the space and serve better than when you're in so many groups and you're so overwhelmed by messages that are sent to you that you don't even know where to go in. You don't even read the messages. You get what I'm saying? So this is just one example of the spaces that we declutter in the workshops that I'm talking about. So decluttering your physical, your mental, your subconscious, your conscious, and your moral spaces and your digital spaces is absolutely important. Again, because it gives you clarity to focus on your purpose. It gives you clarity to redefine yourself. It gives you clarity to redefine your thoughts and restructure them, and to figure out with whom to continue the journey, so that you can tap into your next masterpiece, as I always say. Okay, so this is reason number 3 why it is so important to declutter right now, is for you to gain clarity and the serenity. If there are not so many things overwhelming you, you will have that calmness of spirit to think about what it is that you want to do, to structure what it is that you're about to do. You think about the what, when, who, and where in a better way than when you are kind of dealing with a lot of things at the same time when you're cluttered, when your space is cluttered and your mind is cluttered. Okay. So reason number 4 why it is so important to declutter now is simple. You can do something good. Now, when you come into my Declutter Marathon workshop, I give you not just rituals, not just ways on how to quickly declutter, without being over sentimental, without having the feeling that you're letting things go that you may still need. When you come into that workshop, and not only show you that, but also tell you and give you tips about the things that you can do with the things that you declutter, right? You may not need them, they may not be serving you anymore, but they could serve someone. They may be the things that someone needs right now in order to feel good, in order to be great, in order to get into the next masterpiece, in order to just exist. So when you declutter and you know that you can use the things that you remove out of your space to do good, to help someone else, it becomes easier for you to declutter, in a more, in a deeper sense. So you can really do, because you're not throwing away, you're not wasting, you're not just getting rid of those things that may have been very expensive for you, that may have meant so much for you. You know what to do with them in a way that either brings you money or serve someone differently. Okay, these are some of the things that I show you in the workshop on how you can really repurpose some of the things that you remove from your space because they are no longer serving you, and use them to do good. Reason number 5 is that you reset your priorities. So when you get the chance to remove the things that are no longer serving you, again, this includes places, it includes people, like relationships. Sometimes there's some relationships that are no longer serving. And having gone through the pandemic for the last 2 years, you'll bear with me that you would have discovered some relationship patterns. Some people are no longer there. Either they've passed away, transitioned to the other planet, or they're just no longer in the space where you were before the pandemic, that you served each other. And you realize that they're just there. So why do you keep them there, and why do they keep you there when you're no longer serving each other? And trust you me, when it comes to relationships and to contact on your devices, trust me, we are all in the digital space now, which means if you delete someone and you need them, you can always go get them from social media. You can always go pick admin, most of them. And if they need you, they can always come back. Now, what I'm trying to say is when you keep people and things in that just occupy space for the past 6 months, 1 year, you haven't spoken to this person. Maybe you go into your phone. Let's talk about your phone. You go into your phone and you see some of this contact, some of these names that don't even ring a bell in your head. You don't even know who they are, nor where you got their numbers from, nor where why they're in there in your contacts. So these are some of the people that you need to just clear out of your space so that you have space to know who is there. And once you go through that process of decluttering, you have an overview of who is there, who you kept there, and what you can do with that person, how you can add value in that person's life, or how that person can add value in your life, or the kind of things that you can do. It just takes you down your memory lane and help you kind of reprioritize people, events, circumstances, experiences, maybe some of your certificates, maybe your accolades, maybe some of the dreams that you always had that you've let go. Some of those things that you dreamt about when you were still very young. When people ask you, who do you want to be when you grow up? Can you remember? Do you remember what it was? Where are you today? And could it be that the pandemic has so reshuffled and reset your priorities in a way that you could now go back to those dreams, those childhood dreams, and pick them up? Are you looking for a purpose, a new purpose? Are you still in your job? Are things still the same in your job? How happy are you in your job or in your business? Are you looking for new ideas? So when you declutter your life and you figure out again what is it that you need and you don't need, you have the clarity, the serenity, the overview to reset your priorities, to find your purpose, and to navigate. And again, I want to believe that we're soon coming out of this pandemic, and when we are out, we want to show up. We are forced, we are compelled to show up differently, because if we don't, others will be showing up differently. So we will be compared to show up differently so that we can communicate with others, so that we can connect with those who are showing up differently. I don't think anyone is still at the space where they were before the pandemic. And that was in February 2020 when the pandemic began. So that's why I'm saying that it is so important that we do this decluttering now, so that we prepare ourselves to get out of the pandemic on a new setting, on a new page, on a new chapter, on a new thoughts, new dreams, new ideas, new people, new way of doing things. And until we declutter and let go some of the junk that we're carrying that is no longer serving, we may never really be able to do this properly. We may do, but we may not be able to leverage as much as we could if we decluttered our spaces. So if you, I think I have a bonus reason for you, which means when you declutter your spaces, you take full ownership of your life. Why do I say this? Because again, at any one time, you know what you stand for, you know what you're going, where you're going to, you know with whom you want to collaborate, with whom you want to hang around, with whom you want to do business, with whom you want to be friends, with whom you want to do the next project. When you declutter, you also realize that the new things that come in, you know what you have in your space. When you know what you have in your space, you know where you're going, you know who you have on your journey. You just own that journey. You just own and rock that journey like no one else. As compared to when you don't even know. Someone said if you don't know where you're coming from, you don't know where you're going, someone may take you to where they want you to go, and you may not be happy with where someone is taking you to. So we have just one life, and if there's one thing I've learned from the pandemic, it is that I want at any one moment to be in full ownership of my life. So many people have lost theirs. I still have mine. Why should I not maximize on it? Why should I not own it in a way that allowed me to do the things that bring me joy, to connect and work and to collaborate with people with whom we can create a bigger impact in the world, you know? So this is what I'm saying. When you declutter, you first of all have an overview, you have clarity, you have space, you redefine your purpose, and that helps you to define the way you show up in the world. And in that process, you identify how you want to connect with people and what kind of relationship you want to have with whom. And you know who is in your space for whichever project or whichever business. You re-identify your clients and how you want to interact with them, and how you want to serve the world, how you want to leave a legacy, right? So we all want at one point that when we're no longer here, that someone remembers us, that is not like we were not here, that no one reinvents our lives when we're gone. Again, we are in a digital age right now. So we're leaving a lot of footprints in the digital space. Like this video I'm doing is leaving footprints. So once you know what you're doing, you also know the kind of footprints that you want to leave in this space, so that when your great-great-grandchildren stumble on this one day, they'll say, oh, that was my grandma, that was my grandpa, that was my granduncle, and this is what he or she used to think. So we are living footprints. Let's leave conscious footprints. Let's leave intentional footprints. Let's leave those footprints that make the next generation of the people that are coming after us be proud of who we are. Okay, so and one of the best ways to do so is when we declutter, we release the things that we no longer need, and we focus on those things that allowed us to create that conscious legacy. Okay, so if you're wondering how do I get this done, where do I get started? How do I get started? I have an offer for you. Not to worry. I'm just trying to pick that one. I have a 60-minute declutter marathon coming up very soon. That is going to be in March. That's Women's Month, right? And women out there, sisters, no matter where you're coming from, wherever you are in the world, during the Women's Month, we carry a lot of baggage. And during Women's Month, it is the time when we have to let go of some of those baggage. Maybe the children are grown up and they've left home, and you're still hanging after them, you're running after them, and you're getting worried because they don't call you back, because they don't reach out when you want, they don't come for lunch, for dinner, and all of those things. Hey, sister, this is the time to let go. Come into my workshop and I'll show you how to let go, how to reorganize your life, how to just declutter, take away those things so you see the magic of the things that will happen. Had I not come, if I came to South Africa with more than, no, the fact that I moved to South Africa with just 2 suitcases, gave me the space to do a whole lot of things, to start afresh. And for me, moving from one space to the other, meeting just opens a new window to meet new people, to think differently, to arrange things differently, to consciously choose the kind of furniture that you want to have, consciously choose what is it that you want to surround yourself with in that new environment. So this workshop is coming up. There are just few seats left. And if you want to jump on, the link is right here. When you go on the Luma page that carries my name, you see it right here. If you go on that page, you not just find this workshop, but you find other master classes and workshops that are upcoming. And that could be one or two could be for you. And hey, let's offer people something useful during this during Women's Month and Black History Month. Maybe you want to book someone into this class. Could be your partner, could be your wife, your husband, could be your sister, your children, to help them finally declutter their rooms or whichever space, or help you at home. Maybe you come as a whole family because, hey, trust me, when you leave this workshop, you will leave with a lot of tools and a lot of rituals and a lot of small steps that you can take in order to just start decluttering your space, so that some of those things that you carried over from before the pandemic, from 2020, 2021 into 2022, that you're able to let them go. And you believe me also that if the things that you carry from by now you should be aware of some of the baggage that you brought into 2022, that you now think that you should have left them behind. They shouldn't be here because, again, they belong to the past, right? And you are evolving. So this is the workshop where we get that work done. So in 60 minutes, I give you the tools so that you can go do the work at home, and then we can meet again, and then you share your experience about how that journey was for you. Okay, so if you want to go faster and you need quick results, you want to use that link right there and book your one-on-one session with me on my calendar, and I will reach out to you and we can schedule whenever it is time, and we can do that decluttering. Now, what we do in the workshop is a whole lot. We don't just declutter your so to say, we declutter different spaces. We declutter your physical spaces, we declutter your digital spaces, and we declutter your mind. Because when you declutter your conscious and your subconscious mind, it allows you to declutter other spaces easily, right? So this is what I'm talking about. It is time to declutter, because when you declutter, you set yourself up for something bigger. You just let those things go that no longer serve you. So I could talk for hours upon hours. I don't want to do that because I want you to go register for the workshop and bring a friend or two. You know, what do they say? Sharing is fun. Sharing is caring. During this time of the so many things that we've gone through during this pandemic, you may just grab one of your best friends or one of someone that you love and bring them to this workshop so that you can do the work together. And this could be the space where you reborn with one another and pave the way forward to the kind of relationship, the kind of alliance, the kind of business, the kind of associate, the kind of experience that you want to collectively have in the future as we hopefully and gradually move out of the pandemic. So that said, I'm done for this session. It was not a book launch. I was just here to tell you it is time, sisters and brothers, to declutter. And I am here to help you declutter because I've done that job so many times. Not only have I done it, I have created tools and systems and rituals that allowed you to really declutter without regret, to declutter consciously and to declutter with a purpose, and to come out with clarity and a new sense of purpose, and with tools that allowed you to tap into your next masterpiece because you so deserve it. Okay, I'll see you in the workshop. Until then, make sure to stick around tomorrow. We have another book launch. It is still Black History Month, and watch out for the packages that we have for you in March, which is International Month of Women. We're celebrating the whole month, okay? So you want to watch out for that. And thank you for having tuned in today. I hope you pick one thing or the other. And if what you pick allowed you to go do your decluttering, you don't need to come to my workshop. But if you need tools, you need help, you need someone to take you by the hand, make sure you book into the workshop, and I will see you in that workshop. So you have a wonderful evening, and make sure you come back tomorrow for the book launch. Bye-bye. Oh, I see Evelyn. I do see you online. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you. I'll see you in the masterclass, but also if you need decluttering, make sure that you get into the workshop and bring all your girlfriends with you. Okay, thank you. Goodbye. Have a wonderful evening.